shooting broke out.
Sometimes bad things just happen. Sometimes horrible things just happen. Unfortunately, there were a number of different tragedies that took place. There was the real big tragedies of what happened there at the Safeway. By the way, kudos, and I say this now, but I don't know if it's changed. I drove past the Safeway because I drive past it every morning on the way to work. There were no news crews there, and I was pleased, at least that point in time, because and now if anybody's gone there since then I got to take that back, and I'll find out later on. But I was just glad there wasn't and we're back at the Safeway, and, seeing happy shoppers going in the place where the tragedy took place for no other reason, just to have a live shot somewhere. But what came out, the other tragedies that took place was all the nonsense that came out of this. All the comments made by Pima County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick, all the civility arguments, that had look, again, if you want to argue civility, we'll have the conversation, but it had nothing to do with January 8th. Gun control. No, sometimes just bad things happen. You want to talk about fixing the problem, you want to look at how you keep this from happening, then we need to start valuing parenting more and the family unit more. Because we don't in this country. And even then, sometimes there's nothing you can do. All right, let me get to the phones, and I'll tell you my own story. First, we'll talk to Robert. Thanks for holding on, Robert. I appreciate it, and welcome to the John Justice Show.
Good morning. So, look, I have an adult child living at home going to Pima, and she is sane, and I guarantee you the relationship is complicated. Earlier you said several times the parents didn't do anything about it, and that's what we needed to focus on. I don't know what they could have done other than try to insist that he go. And as the guy said, he wasn't communicative. And believe me, I've been there. When you got a kid that's not communicative,
right,
won't talk to you. I think these parents, this guy was desperate. He's disabling the kid's car every night. He's doing whatever he can. And you know what? Nobody at the college was saying, let's get a group together and get this kid committed. You can't get a kid committed unless a healthcare professional agrees. And how do you get a healthcare professional to agree unless the kid goes? So I just thought it was a little unfair, John.
Well, let me rephrase this. Let me say it this way. If we are going to have a conversation about how do we keep things like this from happening, then that's the conversation we should be having. It's not gun control. It's not civility. It's the role of the parents in children's lives. If we are going to have a conversation, I'm not even sure that we need to have that conversation, apart from being a country that goes and actually respects and values the importance of a strong family unit. If we become a country that, once again, because I believe at one point in time we did, actually takes on or actually puts an importance on getting married. And not just having it be something that happens and then we can get divorced and having it not be a big deal. Okay? It should be a big deal. We should not go into getting married lightly by any stretch of the imagination. And unfortunately, we look at it in such a way that, well, you can get a divorce and just things happen. My parents got divorced. I hope that there is a generation that's right in the same age of myself and my wife that tries to do what we do. And this is not patting ourselves in the back, but it's an understanding that her parents were divorced, my parents were divorced, and we don't want our kids to have to go through that. So if we are going to have a conversation, that's the conversation that we need to be having. It's not about gun control, and it's certainly not about civility. It's not about anything that Pima County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick said at all. Look, when I was probably roughly the same age as Jared Loughner was, okay? And I can get my dad on the phone, and my dad could probably extrapolate on this more so than I can, because I probably blocked a lot of it out, because you just, just the natural inclination, you block a lot of negative things out in your life. But there was a point in time where my dad is like my best friend now, but there was a point in time where we had a huge falling out over stupid reasons. But we didn't talk. We passed each other in the hall. I was disconnected from him and wore black all the time and listened to the Smiths and Depeche Mode. And, I wore black on the outside because black is how I felt on the inside. I was a very bad goth at the time. I was awful. I was such a wannabe. But my dad and I had a total disconnect. And it probably wasn't unlike this. No, I didn't have guns. He didn't disconnect my car or anything like that. However, my dad and I had a relationship like that. Probably wondered what I was doing in my bedroom with the door shut, listening to, music all the time. And it happens. I'm not trying to harp on the parents here. We weren't there. We don't know. But it's not unlike anything that, we haven't gone through. I mean, Bob was talking about it as well. It happens. What parent without a child going and writing down a manifesto about how he wants to shoot a bunch of people really believes that their son or daughter is capable of anything like this? No parent is going to think that. All right, let's talk to Bill real quick. We got to take a break. Bill, well, I know Bill's been holding for a while. Welcome to the John Justice Show. Thanks for holding on.
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Good.
Yeah, my kid was diagnosed with bipolar when he was 15, and he it was a mess till he was 18. But once he turned 18, then he's in control. You're in control of it. You can get him into these hospitals and evaluated and everything.
Sure.
When he's a minor. But once he turns 18, it's hard. It's up to him to go. They actually got to do something crazy before that you can have him admitted or whatever. At least mine's on medication. I've had good luck. He's 23 now, but it was a road that I had him in Pima College, and he had a manic episode, and he couldn't go back to school. And the problem with all these shootings and these young kids, they're all young males in their 20s, and they're all living at home with no jobs. They try to help themselves, like go to school, and they can't handle it. If they were making $50,000, $60,000 a year, they wouldn't be out shooting people. They have no life. And they're so young that they're trying their hardest with dishwasher job. You're lucky to make $5,000 a year.
Yeah. I was listening to Laura Ingraham yesterday, and she was talking about the prison system, and there were some statistics talking about the younger individuals in prison, and the percentages were astronomically high of those younger incarcerated individuals. When they got released, that they would go back out and do crimes again. It was the younger generation that did that. The older guys knew better, had learned and grown up, but the younger dudes just didn't have any value, or morals that they could stand by. All right, more of your phone calls coming up, more details as well. Katie Pavlich will join us just after the top of the hour. It's the John Justice Show on 104.1 The Truth, Right Talk for Tucson.